The desert is that place where we ask those questions. There isn't just one. It happens many times in our life. It happens many times as we grow and become different people. It's the desert of the office, where an employer asks how he will treat his employees justly, where the person who works for the employer, the government, whoever it is, asks whether or not I give a just time and a just day's work for what I'm being given. It's the place where we look at our lives and say, how will I be known? What will I do with this gift that God has given me that is my life? It's the coming awareness of this presence of God in me that requires a yes. When I look at my family and my addiction to booze or to drugs or to computer issues, pornography on the computer, and I make a decision to put all of that away for the sake of them, I'm in the middle of the desert making a decision in God for life. You see, if we can get it around our heads and our hearts around this reality that this is what our Savior did, so that he could emerge from the desert in a new place, so that suddenly he would, as the Gospel today very succinctly puts it, appear in Galilee, announcing, now is the time. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The place, the time of liberation, of God's presence with his people, the revelation of God's promise being fulfilled is now in me. It's here. It's come. He had to first struggle in those 40 days. But could it possibly be that the Father is asking me? It is the question, of course, that everybody has to ask. You know, St. Francis of Assisi, whenever he prayed, it's always been very touching to me. Whenever he would pray, he would kneel before the Lord and he would ask two questions. And this would always start his prayer. He would always say, who are you? And who am I? That's the questions of the desert. Who are you and who am I? And when we ask them in the context of the desert where our life is, you see, deserts are not necessarily horrible, barren, awful places. They produce life. They are free of the distractions. When we ask them, we change. And every act of yes in that one desert leads to a deeper one, and a deeper one, and a deeper one. And yes, the temptations along the way grow more severe, but the ability to press them back, the strength to move against them, the wisdom to see through them, that grows proportionately too. For us as Catholics, Lent is intended to be an artificial desert, one created by the liturgical year in preparation for Easter, a mini place where the Church urges its body, itself, to take a look and to ask that question because of the time of year it is. But it's presented to us liturgically and spiritually so that we might recognize its presence not just in Lenten time, but in summer, winter, fall, doesn't matter. It comes to us when we face a serious illness, when we have a decision about vocation, when we have a decision about our marriage, our children, our parents, how we live our lives. We too must be willing to be driven into the desert of our now to ask our questions about our who. And when we are, the kingdom is indeed at hand. The time of salvation is in fact now. And we are liberated because to give a yes to the Father is to give a yes to life embracing me. The angels came, it said, and ministered to him. We may face many wild beasts in our desert. Friends who tell us we're foolish to live like Christians. Spouses who don't respond to our unconditional love. Children who don't listen. parents who don't understand, and a church that seems to leave me behind as an older person or a single person in the world. There are angels who will minister too, so that embraced by life, we may give life and be it. May Jesus be praised forever.
Amen.